Okay, hello, this is video 20, the basics for success on the volleyball court. This is a primer for a volleyball tournament that we're about to go to. I'm gonna rip through a whole lot of things here, so try to keep up. If you gotta pause and put things in your notes, do it. But I'm gonna go fast because we got a lot to get to. Here we go. So, always be as offensive as possible. You should never be giving something to the other team, especially if it's simple. We want their life to be difficult, we want to beat them. Always be as offensive as possible. It doesn't always mean a crushed ball, but offensive just means making their life difficult sometimes if you can't beat them outright. So, if you're going to free ball, it always goes to area 1, except if the setter's releasing, which is what they do in a free ball situation. So you find that setter, you give it to them. Here you go, setter. Make the setter jump out of the way, make somebody else get into the ball, and pass the ball and still make it all work out, cause chaos. Down balls go to area 1, end of story. Down balls go to area 1. It's the most confusing place. Down balls are simple for good people. Make it challenging. Tips are short, shots are deep, and you tool as often as you can when you're hitting. And 10-foot line hits, back row attacks, go to area 1 just like down balls do without exception. The exception is if you can get a kill. So if that set leads you to their left back, which is where their libero is, you'd better be crushing that ball and getting a kill, not just hitting it hard. You better see, I got this. Otherwise, you bail, you take heat off it, and you go back to area 1, because that's what volleyball players do. Next up is ball control. When you are going to have a perfect pass to a ready target, you pass it low. So low passes when the pass is going to be perfect to a target that is ready. An example of a target that's not ready is a setter that's releasing from the back row. If you pass it low and she's not there, even if it's a great pass, it's a terrible pass. Your target is not there to set it. So when they're ready and you can do it perfectly, feel free to go low. However, things get higher as control breaks down. As there's more movement, as you know less about where people are, if you're not sure if that person's there, you add air, and if there's a lot of confusion, you just chuck it skyward, let the setter do her job, walk underneath it, set an antenna, and everybody will go cover. We'll be fine. When you pass balls that are not right there somewhere you can handle them, especially if they're low or if you need more time to look at them, pass and fall over. We have said this 10 billion times, and still, our team that lacks ball control is not falling over when they're passing low balls. Hence our continued lack of ball control. Please work on this even if you screwed up a couple times this weekend. Pass and fall over every low opportunity you get. Dig to 10 feet, pass to 5, and nail it at 2. So when we're digging, it is high in the middle of the court. 20 feet high, 10 feet off. If we're passing, you should probably shoot for about 5 feet, and that's at least 3 feet in front of the setter. And then if you're going to nail it, go ahead and nail it at 2 feet off, because 2 feet off is a perfect pass, not a ball on the tape. Okay, we are setting goes full time, except when we're close. So no matter what the hitter wants, no matter if you've talked about it or not, we are chucking goes all the time. Unless you've gotten very close to that hitter, then it resembles more of a 2, which will keep most of the same timing that a go was. Okay, next up we have serving. Serving, the rule of 3. In more tough. That means when you get up to serve, your first serve is always in. After you've gotten a point and you go back to serve for your second time, you're allowed to do more than just in. You go in more and you get a third opportunity, that third one can be pretty tough. You are not allowed to miss. But if you did miss, the only time you'd ever miss is on the third one. Because we wouldn't miss the fourth because it goes in, more, tough, and then we go right back because it's a rule of 3 to number 1. That next one is in. Then you're allowed to do more. Then you're allowed to serve tough. Then in, then more, then tough. You're only allowed to really go for it every third time, and that's in a row. If you only get 2, and then you rotate around 6 times, you start over at 1. The rule of 3, start over in every time. Of course, it would be great if your in serve was a fairly tough serve. I'm not saying do a lollipop. I'm saying never miss your first serve. And still be as offensive as you can, please. Okay, never miss after a miss. We don't miss after one of our players missed last. We don't miss if they just missed their serve. And we don't miss if 6 rotations ago you missed your serve. Never miss after a miss. Hit the areas. We have coaches that are calling areas for reasons. It doesn't matter if you get it or not. Find a way to hit the areas, or at least not miss in the process. But if you could hit the areas, I guarantee we would have more success. If you don't know what else to do, rip it low and hard. Hit it hard, keep it low over the net. That's a tough serve, even if it's right at somebody. If you got nothing else to do, you can go here. For a floater, you hit the ball in the middle of the back of the ball with the heel of your hand. This part right here. 4 of us are top spinning balls. That's more than half the people on the court at any given time are putting the easiest possible serve over the net. A float speed with a spin to keep it straight. That's not difficult for anybody to ever pass. So please hit it with the heel of your hand, not the top part, which tends to touch the top of the ball, which is what imparts that spin on it. Hit it with the heel of your hand in the middle of the back of the ball, and launch a floater and let them suffer and let us win. Thank you. And then it's not the serve you miss, it's all the points we could have had after it. It's not that missing is that bad, it's that we don't get access to all the points we should have had you continued to serve the ball in. Missing bad, serving in good. In, more, tough, in, more, tough. And next up we have defense. Put your arms in a high probability area. This is not high probability, it is comfortable. If the block is in front of you, put your arms somewhere they could actually hit the ball one side or the other. If you're shallow in the court, your hands would be high. If you're deep in the court, your hands would be low. If you're in the middle, you might go in the middle. Put your hands in a high probability area. A place the ball might actually go to without you moving much. Choose and execute proper balance. If you were just running backwards, you're probably still leaning backwards, which means you're not going to get any tips at all ever. If you have perfectly centered balance and you're not getting tips, that's a hint that that's not the right balance if you're not ever getting a tip. Maybe you should be balanced a little bit forward if you're back far enough so you can get tips, or just stop and get balls that are at you. Choose a balance. Don't let your body choose it for you. Most of you are doing that. You're trying hard, but your balance is terrible because you haven't chosen one that works. Have several possibilities and hence plans ready. When a ball is hit at you, you should know all the versions of roll, tip, crush, tool that could happen, and you have plans for all those and execute them when you see which one actually occurs. Go first, think on the way. Do not do your thinking beforehand. You always go, and then halfway there, as you're diving, you go, I'm going to be 20 feet away from this. Great, you've done it right. If you look and you go, I might have been able to touch that, that's thinking first and going later, and that's what makes players bad at defense. Go first, think and plan on the way. When you hit the ground, the ball should go 20 feet high in the middle of the court. And speaking of high and 20 feet high in the middle of the court, that's what we should be doing all the time on all defensive plays, unless you are some kind of a genius or the ball is super slow. 20 feet high, middle of the court, 10 feet off the net. And now we have overarching themes, universals of all play. Never miss after a miss. I know we talked about this in serving, but another way you can think about this is, if you just missed a hit, make sure you put the next one in. You don't want to miss 2 in a row. That would not be good for your confidence or our points. Dial it back until confidence. So after you've missed, you would dial it back and you'd have a little more success before you took another big risk. You want to have confidence before you risk too much. So dial it back, succeed a couple times, even if you get zeros, and get that confidence back before you try a hard, difficult hit. Dial it back until confident. You do not have to be a rock star, you do have to be consistent. Nobody here is asking you to be perfect, because if you were, you wouldn't be on our team, you'd be on the national team. Nobody's perfect. And since you don't have to be a rock star all the time, even though we don't like to, what you do have to do is you have to be consistent. Otherwise, you cannot play. You do not get to play. Win momentum rallies. We all know what these are. The ball's gone over the net a few times, or somebody made an amazing dig, or something cool happened where all the crowd goes, woo. You got to win those. You have to find a way to win those rallies. Invest in them, make it happen, we'll win more often. Never anger a retreating opponent. Now, we haven't had a lot of people retreating from us, but if we ever start just kicking somebody's butt the way we're going to sometime soon, don't make them angry. Let them give up, let them lose hope, and let them lose quietly and efficiently to us. Don't make them angry and give them a good reason to come back. Find weakness and exploit it. Hey, if somebody finds something we're bad at, they're going to come right after it. We should be doing the same thing to them. We're not here to make friends. We're here to get wins, friends will happen along the way naturally. And play the whistle, people. Don't stop until the whistle is actually blown. That burned us in the last tournament once. And for our last section, we have inner game. My first one here is, dang, I'm good at this. Anytime you succeed at anything, you should be patting yourself in the back so hard it hurts. You should be telling yourself you are good at everything you do decent or better at to increase your own confidence. Sounds cheesy? Everybody good does it. They're confident for a reason because they're constantly telling themselves how good they are at it. You don't have to be verbal and say it out loud, but you do have to say it in your head if you want to resemble the people that are better than you right now. Note mistakes and use them later. You can note them, meaning, hey, I've missed a lot of line. When I hit line, I should probably not aim so hard for the line. But this is also, when you went for the line, you hit it, and you tooled, you shouldn't be sad that you missed the line. You should be happy. You're like, hey, when I aim for a line, I get a tool. So mistakes can help you in two ways. They can show you how to play your own game, but they can also show you what works accidentally. I mean, how many balls have we not been able to hit in the middle that have gone down for kills, showing us exactly where we need to tip balls if we want kills in the middle? Note mistakes and use them later. Celebrate with your teammates a little louder than you really need to. This is for the benefit of the other team. If they're goofy enough to actually listen and get mad about how well you're doing, tough luck, hon. People have been doing it to us. Let's do it back. Grab the blame, assign success. Dude, if something goes wrong in a play, it's usually you and the next guy, or the guy before you and you. There's usually shared blame somewhere. Heck, it could be the digger or the passer not doing a great job, which led to a weak set, which led to you missing on your hit. Go ahead and grab the blame. Just say, hey, you know what, you guys? I'll take that. It's my job to put the ball in the court. And if the setter tries to grab the blame, the passer tries to grab the blame, we don't have people getting mad at each other. We do have people keeping their teammates around them confident and safe. So grabbing blame is awesome if your ego can handle it. If your ego can't handle it, stop having such a fragile ego and be able to handle it. Good players go, that was me, and they take all the heat off everybody else on a regular basis. Grab the blame. Assign success. When that hit goes well, point right at the setter and say, couldn't have done it without you, and go, by the way, passer, thanks for hooking me up with a great ball to the setter so that they could get me a great ball to kill. You guys are awesome. You don't even mention yourself. Grab the blame. Things go wrong, you talk about you. Assign the success. Things go right, talk about other people. That's a basic for a great teammate. Have a plan all the time. No matter what the skill is, have a plan. Hey, passing, all I'm trying to do is make this ball go up and forward. I'm feeling stupid right now. So we're not doing anything other than not screwing up. Hey, we gotta win this game, and I'm a good passer. I'm going for twos, but I'm really hoping to upgrade. Hey, hitting. They've been leaving truckloads of line. If the ball makes it anywhere near out there, I'm going to tool or go line or cross or whatever your plan is, have a plan. Mental stats. Take note. If somebody's beating you when you're blocking 4 times this way, consider stepping over on your own instead of having the coaches point it out to you for you. Mental stats. Keep track of where people are getting kills, where they're having the success, where they're being bad, so we can stop what they're good at and go out what they're bad at. Take your own mental stats. And lastly, if you're doing well, let it go. Just go. Just have fun, do your thing. But if you're messing up, dial it back until you're in flow again. In other words, dial it back until confidence returns and you feel normal, and then you can get to doing well. And when you're getting to doing well, you let it go. And that's what we're shooting for this weekend. Doing well, letting it go, having a good time. I'm looking forward to it, ladies. We'll see you soon.